But they don't look like me. They don't talk like me. They don't look like me. They don't talk like me. They don't look like me. They don't talk like me.
Welcome back to the exciting conclusion of the July 4th episode. Again, I'm your host, Eugene Capon, with
Pat Mest, and thank you for stopping by at the comic shop for this July 4th special. We're bringing you the red, white, and blue in all its glory. We celebrated big time in
We
part
salute
one.
you.
Top 5 patriotic heroes, that was good times. But now we're going to poke a little fun at some heroes.
And some villains.
Oh yeah, we're talking about our top 5 least favorite costumes. There are some crappy costumes out there, no doubt about it. Heroes and villains.
You know what? When you think of costumes, you usually think, oh hey, these guys are really well, illustrated by professional artists, and sometimes it just doesn't take.
Sometimes I get the feeling with some of these villains, it was like, oh crap, we have a deadline. We need a villain. All right, here it is. All right, costume done. All right, move on. Because there are some bad hero ones, but I feel like a lot of the villain costumes is where I see some bad ones, especially in those older, like 60s and 70s.
Sometimes I tend to think that it might be the writer's fault. They're not necessarily artists, and they're basically drawing up these whole storylines with specific characters and specific powers, and sometimes those powers just don't illustrate well into art, into comic art.
And that is a good point. It's a collaboration, and it could be the writer does the script, and now the artist is just, all right, well, I'm just trying to come up with what you kind of said you wanted.
Especially to try to reach a deadline.
Yeah. Gotta reach that deadline. Okay. But let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to start it off with a villain from the Marvel Universe. His name is Baron Zemo. And it figures that he's a Nazi because Nazis don't have a lot of style. It's just, do you see their old costumes? It's very bland. Just doesn't inspire me much. So,
yeah.
Baron Zemo, he kind of looks like he has a loose stocking cap over his face, and he's got like kind of the black and white like zebra ruffles on the shoulders. Dude, what are you thinking? It's not working. They improved it over time, but Baron Zemo, I'm sorry, you're on my number 5. You're my number 5.
When I look at that costume, I kind of think of like a much gayer version of Commander Cobra's costume.
Yes, Cobra Commander's flamboyant second cousin once removed, Baron Zemo.
Yeah, if Commander Cobra decided to go march in a pride parade, that's where you'd get him.
You're onto something here, and I will follow up. I'm going to look into that. Baron Zemo, I'm figuring you out. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's all good. So yeah, that's where I was starting off. What's yours?
I'm going to go with Stiltsman.
Oh, goodness. Terrible.
In the world of villains, Stiltsman is just he's not just a bad costume, he's a bad guy. Talking in terms of like his intentions, I'm talking in terms of just what he's all about. Like, he was just poorly written, poorly illustrated, and that is why he is on our list.
Did that villain appear more than once?
God, I hope not.
I really, really, really hope not. God awful.
If he does, maybe it's like in a passing way. Yeah. Kind of like, hey, we're going to go visit a villain in jail with all the other jailed villains. Maybe he's in the background trying to reach something off the top shelf.
Just god awful. Let's move on. It's just terrible. My number 4 is actually one of my favorite heroes, but originally his costume just wasn't doing it for me. It is the man with no fear, Daredevil, Matt Murdock. For the first 6 issues, he actually had a maroon, kind of red and bright yellow getup. And I like the maroon and red. I'm a big fan. I think that works with his persona, but the bright yellow just looked like he had taken a highlighter all over his body, and it was just burning my retina, and it just didn't match his persona. And
was it so he could like glow in the dark, or?
It didn't even glow in the dark. That was just the costume.
That's terrible.
Yeah, not good. So they improved it.
But you know what? I bet he would look good at a black light party.
Yes, he would. But yeah, sorry, Daredevil. I love you, but you were at my number 4 for the original incarnation of
I know you can't see us, but we can see you.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's why his costume was so black.
You know what? We'll give him a partial pass. Partial. He still can get help. Come on. Do the Braille, man. Do the Braille.
Braille doesn't translate to colors, you dick.
Well, when you go to the store, you could actually have the labels probably with the Braille. Just like,
okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Fighting Yank.
The Fighting Yank, god awful.
You know, he was on our list of patriotic heroes earlier in the episode. But again, terrible, terrible costume. You know what? I'm not even going to dignify it with going into just how bad the costume is because we already covered it in the first half. And if you haven't seen the first half, go back and see it. Then follow up here.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. My next one is the Hobgoblin. I'm not a fan because he's already a slightly altered version of a previous villain. You know, it's essentially the Green Goblin persona just altered, changed the name slightly, and then just changed the colors. He went from the green and purple to the orange and blue. And it's like, come on. We can do better than rehashing a character that had already been kind of played out. There had already been 4 Green Goblins. Did we really need to go the Goblin persona again? Not a fan of the Hobgoblin. Let's get a little creative. Let's do something better and new.
You know what? I'm always excited about the whole Harry Osborn aspect.
Oh yeah, the Norman to Harry is great. Fantastic.
You know, that's great, but when it comes to the Green Goblin, I just don't like him as a character.
I love the character, and I love Norman and Harry as the Goblin. I got sick of it when, after that, they would just have some random villain or thug stumble upon one of Norman's old lairs, and they would take the serum and read his journals and take the costume and become Green Goblin. So when they did that,
how stupid do you have to be to just inject yourself with something you found in a broken down lab?
Power, robbery, like they like to rob stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? Robbery usually takes some sort of finesse to do it right.
Well, these guys didn't show much finesse, but yeah, I got sick of it. 2 Green Goblins was enough, and very good. After that, it got a bit much. So.
You know what? I will raise you a Magneto.
You know, that's an interesting one because Magneto is considered one of the greatest villains of all time.
But
across the board.
But you know, he's wearing purple spandex and
purple and red. Purple and red.
And he has a giant bucket on his head.
He's protecting himself.
Why are you defending this?
I don't know. Why am I defending one of the greatest villains of all time? I like Magneto's helmet.
You know,
I think it's intimidating.
It's dorky, it's corny, It
got better over the years.
I think they could have came up with something better.
Feelings aren't hurt?
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. It's cool.
Is that a tear?
No, it's just I got really bad allergies when I'm indoors. So it's kind of an issue. I'm sorry.
Oh, really? Because I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's just real bad. There's a lot of pollen in here, so we'll fix it. Anyways.
We're by the ocean.
Cool, man. My number 2 is the Green Arrow. I was never a big fan of the character to begin with because it's obviously very much a Robin Hood ripoff. And the character himself, he felt too much kind of like a Bruce Wayne Batman ripoff in terms of like origins and taking up, superhero crime fighting. I just don't like the Green Arrow across the board.
You know, that's actually kind of why he ended up in the Smallville series.
How long was he on Smallville for?
Like 5 seasons.
Oh, wow. So the character, he was a fairly significant role.
Oh.
Okay.
Green Arrow, he was like, especially in like the last 2 seasons, he was like a regular. He was on top of things.
How did you feel about the portrayal of the character? Did it match well with the comics? Good, bad, better, different?
You know, he was a much younger Green Arrow, but you could definitely see the character in him.
Okay.
And he does one thing much better than Batman. He picks up girls.
He picked up some ladies.
You know what? They're both supposed to be playboys. Green Arrow is an actual playboy. Batman just kind of does it to hide his identity.
Bruce Wayne does it more for the persona. But he was pretty legit about it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. He hit on everything with a pulse, man.
Nice.
I mean, he tried to get with Lois. He tried to get with Chloe.
What?
He spent time with Black Canary.
That's skank.
Oh my god.
A male skank.
You know what? Actually, as it turned out, Chloe ended up marrying Green Arrow.
Oh, she tamed him. Settled down.
Yeah, which is weird because in the comic books, it's the Canary.
Interesting.
Who sings that last tune.
Question, does he rock the sweet facial hair like he has in the comic?
He does not.
Oh, man. See, that's one of the things I do. As a guy with a goatee, I can respect the goatee that he rocks in the comics. That's a redeeming quality. It's good stuff.
Isn't that usually a son of the villain?
Well,
the goatee?
Sometimes. The best example is, of course, Star Trek.
Or
Evil Spock.
Or,
Evil
Satan
Spock had the good...
has a good goatee.
God has a beard. What are you saying?
Yeah, but
facial
it's
hair.
not a goatee.
But it's all facial hair. It's within that spectrum.
It's white. Satan's is red.
I thought this was black.
I don't know. It could be.
Would he have red facial hair on red skin? I don't think that would work.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
It's a design flaw, I guess.
Oh, he's gonna have to work on that. So yeah, that's my number 2. What's your next one?
Galactus.
Galactus, Devourer of Worlds. What about the costume is it specifically that you're not feeling?
It looks like a giant baby wrapped in Legos.
Yeah, looks like he got into a fight with a box of Tinker Toys and Legos, and nobody
That's what
won
came
or
out.
lost, and there was some glue. It's just, I'm not feeling it.
I don't understand what it is with supervillains in purple.
There's a lot of purple. Maybe it's just because there's a lot of heroes that don't have purple, so they want the contrast. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but I don't know. What did you think about their Galactus is actually been in a film. He was in the second Fantastic Four film. What did you think about their representation of Galactus and that? They went a different route. They almost made him like a...
He was the best actor in the whole movie.
Oh, boy. The CGI planet cloud thing was the best actor. Oh, boy. That's not good. That is
Sorry.
not good. Yeah. What is he... And the Silver Surfer, who's an awesome character, wasn't even that cool.
What was it like Ben Affleck in the suit, then somebody else doing the voice?
It wasn't Ben. No, it was a stunt guy in the suit, and then it was Lawrence Fishburne doing the voice.
You know what it looks like? Anyway.
You know what the problem is? Also, they made his skin too light or dark. The Silver Surfer was always a lot brighter.
He was like glowing.
Yeah, he almost glows.
He was like
white and glowing.
He was like a silver Dr. Manhattan.
He looked very dark and very silver, and just wasn't doing it for me. It was too bad. How would you feel about a Silver Surfer movie? Would you be feeling that?
I don't know. Like, they did a really good job kind of explaining the whole the Thor mythology, and Silver Surfer would definitely fit in because he's from another planet that everybody just happens to kind of look like humans.
Yeah, he's very heroic. What happens is he becomes, to save his planet, he becomes a servant of Galactus. So it's good times. Anyways, moving on real quick. The last one, I don't need to say much about it. Mysterio. The guy wears a fishbowl on his head. He's a Marvel villain. Battles with Spidey a lot. Sorry, Mysterio, you're number 1 on my least favorite costumes.
Yeah, just terrible, terrible, terrible costumes. Anyway, hero and villain of the week.
Hero and villain of the week, which is brought to you by... Boom. Bright House Images. Our man AJ Mallory, great photographer down there. He hooked us up with some fantastic promo shots. If you need any photography work, contact AJ at 206-494-0282. He is great. Thanks, AJ. You start off. You are villain, sir.
You know what? It's 4th of July weekend. My villain is anybody who hates fireworks.
I completely agree.
You know, fireworks is definitely one of the many ways that we celebrate our nation's independence.
And,
fireworks, hanging out with family, cooking hot dogs and burgers on the grill. It's just a good time.
Beating up British people. No? Not anymore?
I don't know. I think that's kind of a hate crime.
That's a hate crime now? But it's really hard to tell who's British, in my defense. So, all right. My hero of the week is actually the Warner Bros. Studio. Now, I know Green Lantern has been mixed to negative overall for the most part, but I still believe in this character, and they announced that they are going to go forward and complete a script in hopes of making a sequel. I still believe in the character. Great character, a lot of history. Learn from your mistakes. Do this character justice. Hal Jordan is a badass. And with that, we have come to the conclusion.
That is it.
Check us out on the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitter. Like our stuff. Comment. Send us messages. Everything. We appreciate all your feedback.
We really do. Anyway, we will see you next time.
Bye.
Inside the system. Inside the system. The connection.